So I was 16 when I got my first job. My sister was 14. Got a job with her aunt, I think. No, it was her comadre. I don't know how to say that in English though. Anyway, I was 16. It was with my mom at Wendy's. And I didn't have to do no interview. I didn't have to do nothing. I just told her about me wanting a job. She was all like, okay. Next thing I know, I walk in, they gave me a uniform, and they plopped me on the fry station. It was a 2-hour shift. It would have been 4, but I got tired. I got lazy. I was complaining and telling my mom, Mom, I want to go home. I mean, nowadays I can do a 12-hour shift, but at the time I was 16. I wasn't used to it. It was hot too. Anyway, I get trained there. Like everyone, I go through some very bad experiences. Some not so bad, like when I was trained at the cash register. I wasn't doing too great. They taught me, but like for cashiering, you kind of got to remember, like photographic memory, what each button does and where to find all these other buttons. I just didn't have that. The customers got on me about it. They got impatient. I ended up giving people wrong change. I ended up slowing the line down. And this old lady, she was a friend of my mom. She was getting on me to the point where I started crying. That was the first time that I have ever cried at a job. It wasn't the last time, and I don't think it'll be the last time. And this lady, I didn't really get along with her. She was kind of fake. Like, one time, I was bagging, and sometimes, I know she would do this because my mom said she'd do this to her sometimes. When she's at the sandwich station doing sandwiches, going through all the sandwiches he has to do, she'll sometimes skip one on accident or on purpose, I don't know. And then fuck up the flow because we're not supposed to like open every single sandwich and check if it's the right sandwich for the right order. It's in order. All the orders go in a line in order on the screen. And she would skip some, and then I would end up bagging the wrong sandwich to the wrong order, and then the customers would come back all pissed off, and then she would be the one blaming me. She would say it's my fault, I don't check the bags, I don't check the sandwiches, I don't do shit, yada yada yada. I don't know. I never had any problems with any of the managers or any of the supervisors besides her. She was a general manager, but like the store manager, I never had an issue with any of them. Besides this one guy, 24, and he's very picky, very snobby, very, like, if there's no customers, you still have to work, you still have to clean. Like, for me, I'm used to, like, if there's no customers, I'm gonna sweep, I'm gonna clean up my station. But he's all like, oh, you also gotta do their station. They're not doing shit, but you still gotta do their station. And it pissed me off because it's like, okay, that's their station. They should do their station. You should get on them more about them doing their station, picking up after them. I know there was this one manager, lazy fuck, but I never said that to her face because, I mean, I'd rather have a lazy fuck of a manager than a store manager that I'm about to explain later on why I quit after 2 years. Because I did work there for a little over 2 years, 16 to 17-ish. She would go outside and she would smoke, and sometimes we'd have a line, and she would stay outside and smoke. And me and this other girl, she was around my age, but I don't know why, she always worked herself to death. She would take care of 2 stations while doing the dishes, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it was just me and her this time, and we had a line. And she was doing the sandwiches, I was bagging and taking orders. And the manager, she sits directly where the cars enter. So, I mean, she saw that there was a line. She saw that there were customers coming in. Didn't do jack shit. Just waited there, came inside, helped us pick up the pace, and then went back outside. One time, there was a fight. Yeah, there was. It was between that lady, the lazy one, and then this other lady. She wasn't a manager, but she was a worker there. The general manager, from what I hear, from the gossip that I was told, was that she ended up talking to her man. The man that lady, the other lady, the worker under her, brought in to work with. And then they started getting along. They started chit-chatting, little and then all of a sudden, this guy just leaves her for the general manager. And then I wasn't there. I was scheduled the day that the fight happened, but I didn't come in. I kind of wish I did come in. But apparently, the worker came in, started yelling at the general manager, and ended up hitting her, like physical attack. The cops weren't called, but I mean the store manager guy, the 24-year-old, started threatening about calling the cops when they were gossiping, when I was eavesdropping. You can't help but not listen to stuff like that. Anyway, I ended up getting a job at Amazon. And the thing about that is that I was used to like 4-6 hour shifts. They had 10 to 12 hour shifts at Amazon. I was not prepared for that. It was third shift too. So like, I was more used to like morning to midday, third shift, while living with a family of 4 other people. Well, 5, because yeah, 5 other people in a Hispanic household. I couldn't sleep for shit. I had summer school, I think. Did I? No, I was in college. But I still had school. I think I was going full-time. No, I was going part-time. I had 2 classes in the morning, and then I had all this fucking noise from my parents, from my siblings, making all this fucking noise. I was trying to sleep in my room. I couldn't do shit. I couldn't focus on my homework. I was failing. And at the time, Amazon, it seemed like such a hard job. Amazon, to me, seems like heaven compared to the warehouse that I work now. But at the time, it was hard for me. It's my first warehouse job. I'm a stower. I'm stowing, 3rd shift. I'm like falling asleep. I'm about to pass out on the floor. The guy starts noticing. He's all like, shit, man, I'm tired too, girl. And then I'm just thinking to myself, bro, you don't understand. I'm getting like 2 hours of sleep, a 10-hour shift. I'm full-time, by the way, with mandatory overtime. I quit before the time that they started scheduling people. I was seasonal. They started scheduling seasonal people. 60, 80 hours a week. I was like, hell no. I'm doing 40 and I feel like shit. You want me to double that? Fuck no. So I left. I didn't put no 2 weeks in. I just left. I was out there searching for a job. I couldn't find no job. It was around the holidays too. So I was applying everywhere until I decided, fuck it, bro. I'm just gonna apply back to Wendy's and stay there until I can find a different job. And so I did. But it was at a different store with a different store manager and different people. And so this is where my bad blood comes in, or the store manager that actually made me quit. I think I lasted 2 weeks at his store until I quit. At this time, it was a couple months in between that I didn't work at Wendy's, and it was opening 6 a.m. with this black older lady, and then other days with this other guy. And the thing about this is the store manager would always take her side, right? So I'm used to just setting up my area, setting up my shit, and then doing my own shit. You know, if there's no customers, then there's no work, right? I think what they're used to is that I help out with other stations, which, I mean, she never told me she had a problem with me. I feel like if she told me I needed help around her more, I would have done that. But the thing is, she didn't say anything. She waited for the store manager to come to the store and then yap her shit about me behind closed doors. And then he would lash out on me and say shit like, you don't do shit. This isn't like your other store where you get to get babied, because he knew that I worked with my mom. That's what he assumed, that I was just getting babied and people were just stacking shit for me at my station, which I wasn't. I was stacking my own station. But I mean, that's what he'd say, right? And then he'd get on me about being late, and I'd be like 10, 15 minutes late. But in my defense, right, the first time we scheduled an interview, he didn't show up. He didn't text me in advance. He didn't call me in advance. He didn't even apologize. I came in there expecting to see him for an interview, to get my uniform, to do all that. He wasn't fucking there. I left, right? And then he calls me back. I think he messages me or calls me back about rescheduling it. I come back. He doesn't apologize. He doesn't acknowledge it. And then he wants to get on me about being late. If you're gonna yell at me about being late, don't be a fucking hypocrite, okay? That was my first big red flag that I noticed. And the second thing was that I would do these orders. I would take these orders from customers, and then sometimes they'd get upset about something, that I'd give them the wrong change or blah blah blah. And normally what my manager would do at my other store was that he'd help me out, right? He'd talk to the customer. He wouldn't make a scene in front of a customer, because that's bad. What he'd do, he'd lash out on me and say, oh, if you're fucking short, then we're just gonna take it out of your check. And like, he wouldn't help the situation. He'd try to rile me up. He'd try to rile a customer up, insinuating me being a dumbass, even though I've worked at Wendy's for 2 years at this point. And I mean, for me, I wasn't really doing anything bad either. Sometimes I'd go on my phone, he'd get on my ass, not just on my ass, but other people's ass, about being on our phones. But the thing is, if there's no customers, everything's stacked up, everything's clean, I don't see a fucking reason why we can't be on our phones. He was a really bitchy man. I think he was in his 30s, 30-something, black guy. One time, I ended up getting some change wrong. It actually got me to the point of me tearing up. And that's when I snapped. That's when I was like, bro, you're gonna yell at me for $12.50 an hour, try to hold me to these standards, and then you don't even hold yourself to these standards, while also only taking the side of that old fuckface, not really coming to me about it, just assuming she's right. I ended up walking out. I mean, I came in the next day, because I knew he wasn't gonna work tomorrow, or that day. I was opening the store with this other guy. I went through my shift, and I noticed how differently everybody acted around me. So I knew that that guy was talking shit. I mean, he's a Wendy's manager. I don't really expect much from him. But like, people were treating me different. That's when I just took off my uniform. I was wearing a tank top under it, so it's not like I walked out in a bra. He stood on his desk all neatly, wrote last day on his little calendar by me, and then left. Never came back. Well, I did come back, but not to work. A couple months after that, I came back with a friend. We went to the movies, and we decided to get Wendy's. His Wendy's was the closest one. So we went in there and got food. I saw him talking to other people, and then we started eating in the car, because I was all like, bro, I don't want to fucking eat in here while that guy's in here. I don't want to fucking see him or breathe the same air as him. So he left and started eating in the car. And then I was all like, shit, man, let me go get another cookie. He looks up and gives me the pity look. And I'm like, do not ever fucking look at me. I didn't say that, but I was pissed off that he did that. Just because, I mean, he doesn't give a fuck. The thing is, I knew he was never gonna find anyone else who would be willing to open at 6 a.m. for $12.50 an hour. Like I said, I worked at Wendy's for a little over 2 years. The most raise I've ever gotten, I think, was a 25 or 50 cent raise. I can't remember. It wasn't a full dollar raise, I'll tell you that. Because I remember at one point he was all like, I don't know what he said exactly, but he was all like, blah, 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 you better, if you want to keep this job, something like that. I don't even know. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, if I want to keep this job, nigga, if you want to keep me, you better pipe the fuck down. Like, damn. The moral of this story is not let these fuck-ass managers, oops, from fast food to retail jobs, fucking push you around, because I have gotten pushed around in retail, too. My retail job that I have right now, I will talk about that some other time, but I have gotten pushed around, and I have felt bad for it. And the thing is, I shouldn't have felt bad for it. I should have spoken up. This is your signal to speak up.